What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. We got a lot to cover today. Let's start with the NBA draft. The NBA draft is tonight at 8 o'clock. We got some rumors swirling. It appears the top three picks are probably going to be Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, and Paolo Banchero in that order. Looks like the Orlando Magic will select Jabari Smith. It appears that the Oklahoma City Thunder will select Chet Holmgren, and the Houston Rockets will select Paolo Banchero. All three are big guys. All can shoot. Of course, Jabari Smith out of Auburn, Chet Holmgren is out of Gonzaga, and Paolo Banchero is out of Duke. That's what it looks like the top three are going to be. There's really no stud, clear number one in this draft. There's no, Zion Williamson, like he had a couple years ago. We all know he would go number one to the Pelicans a couple years ago. In this draft, all three of those guys, hypothetically could go number one. I think even Jaden Ivey should be in that conversation. I would think he's a top five, not top four player in this draft. I think he's in that conversation as well, but it looks like that will be the top three. After that, it's pretty much a mystery. A lot of other good players, guys like Keegan Murray. You got Jaden Ivey, Benedict Mulford, Johnny Davis. So many good young players are in this draft. And it will be very, very interesting to see what happens tonight. That's it. That's at 8 o'clock. Supposedly the New York Knicks are looking to trade up. Supposedly they really like Jaden Ivey. Supposedly they have been talking to the Sacramento Kings and the Detroit Pistons, who have the picks number 4 and 5 respectively. I heard they're willing to offer the Kings multiple first rounders, possibly up to get number 4. I heard they're interested in maybe getting up to number 5 as well. The Pistons, they definitely need a point guard. They are going shopping for one this offseason. Like I said, they are trying to trade up to get into the top 5, see if they can draft Jaden Ivey. And they're also looking to try to clear some cap space so that they can possibly sign Jalen Brunson this offseason, who appears to be the top point guard available on the market in free agency, which starts next week. Speaking of point guards available in free agency, one that may become available and you could become a top free agent available on the board possibly is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie, of course, is a member of the Brooklyn Nets, and he has a player option worth $36.5 million. Supposedly, he's having trouble reaching a contract with the Nets, and we got Justin in here. We are going to invite him on the mic. We're going to put him as a speaker. Justin comes on my show all the time. Him and I live together sometimes when we're in college. We're roommates, so we do podcasts together. So let's put him on. Hey, Justin.
Hey, yo, I hear we're talking about Kyrie.
Yes, we are.
All right. I'm listening.
All right. So supposedly, obviously, he's got a player option, which I believe is worth $36.5 million. Supposedly, him and the Nets are trying to work out an extension, and Kyrie is not happy with the contract talk. So now, there's rumors he might be looking elsewhere. Supposedly the Knicks might be interested, maybe the Clippers, maybe even the Lakers. Of course, we know the history between him and LeBron James. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation with Kyrie Irving?
Well, this is classic Kyrie. This is textbook Kyrie. He basically did the same shit in Boston. And then everyone knows he went to Brooklyn. But I remember when they lost the season, or maybe before the playoffs, Kyrie said in a press conference, I want to stay with my boy number 7, which is, of course, Kevin Durant. I guess not anymore. Look, I'm not sure where he's going to go. I'm not sure who the hell wants him, because, there's a lot of people would fit in very well with him. But the problem is that if you pick up a player, you want them to play. And that's the one thing that Kyrie Irving just doesn't do. He'll play 2 games, then sprain his eyelash, then be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Guy can't stay on the court. Obviously, he had the whole thing with the vaccination thing, which he played 29 games last year. He only played 29 games in the regular season because he was not able to play in New York. And at first, they were like, all right, we're not going to play him at all until he's a full participant. Then COVID hit their entire team, like it did pretty much everywhere. And they were like, oh, now we're going to play him, when he can play. He'll play on the road when he can. And then, of course, Eric Adams, the new mayor of New York City, lifted the mandate. So he was able to eventually play play at home. But this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of teams are not like jumping to get him. Like, the Lakers are not, LeBron James or whoever runs the front office with the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, LeBron, whoever it is not, calling Kyrie. The Clippers are not doing this. The Knicks, they did not want him to come to the Knicks, are not doing this. So, because like you said, Justin, he can't stand the court. And also, he's a head case.
Yeah, he is. The problem is he just becomes a bit of an issue for especially like the PR office because of all the shit he does. Like, he's not necessarily a bad guy, he's not up there, of course, your Myles Garrett's, your Kareem Hunt's and Deshaun Watson's of the world, that entire Cleveland Browns team. But he just always seems to be doing some dumb shit to always, be in the news for the wrong reasons. One of which is, of course, his vaccination thing, and then, and then, what was it? Like, he's not gonna play for Ramadan or something. It's like every single time this guy's on the news, it's I'm not playing because of blank.
Yeah, and he's always in the news for something not related to basketball. Like, his job is to play basketball, and he's always in the news for something other. Like, oh, he's injured. Oh, he doesn't like, the rotations. He doesn't want to get vaccinated, and he can't play because of the rule, because New York has a specific rule. Oh, he doesn't want to play on Ramadan, which, although I respect his beliefs, Hakeem Olajuwon fasted for Ramadan years ago in the NBA Finals and played, and went out there and played like the whole time that he was. So I don't know what Kyrie's excuse is there. And I don't understand how one could create so much drama.
Yeah, I don't know, but this is kind of Kyrie's career outside of Cleveland. That was kind of it. It's like ever since he left Cleveland and, kind of helped LeBron win a ring, it kind of just went downhill from there with him. But look, I'm going to be honest with you. If he does go to the Lakers, that would be kind of sick. Not going to lie, you bring back LeBron and Kyrie. Maybe they've patched things up, or maybe they still, or maybe Kyrie still hates him. But look, a lot of people will benefit though from getting Kyrie Irving just on a skill standpoint.
Of course.
And aside from playing, I mean, you have arguably the best ball handler in the league. He's a great scorer, an efficient shooter. Um, he really knows how to get inside, facilitate. Can really find a wide open spot to pass to players. He's very, very good. He's certainly an upgrade of Russell Westbrook. If you're shopping to kind of get rid of Westbrook, if you're the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Russell Westbrook. I can't imagine they want him on the team. I think it's clear. First of all, he's washed, and he just does not fit that team. I didn't think he ever did. That's why I did not think the move would work. I did not think it would be that bad, but I didn't think they would go past the first or second round last year, even going into the year, because the Lakers need a guy that could shoot. So when LeBron gets doubled, Anthony Davis, when he's on the court, the few times he's on the court, when he gets doubled, they can kick it out to a guard, and he can shoot. Russell Westbrook, although we didn't think he would shoot that bad, he's never been a great three-point shooter, especially the last 2 years of his career. So I think, obviously, if you get Kyrie in there, along with being a star player, of course he can shoot, so that would work. But I don't know if the Lakers want him.
Wait a second, Jake. Speaking of Anthony Davis, what do you think about the thing that he said a few weeks ago that he hasn't shot a basketball since April 5th?
Okay, so I think that's very concerning. So
a very, you don't say.
So this guy is making
just a little bit.
This guy's making 30 plus at least, if not $40 million a year. He's supposed to be a top 5 player in the world. Supposed to be maybe the best teammate LeBron's ever had. He's had a lot of great, talented, all-star, even Hall of Fame worthy teammates. This guy can't stay on the court. He kind of he seems a little bit of a phony to me. He doesn't seem like his heart's in it. He's kind of like, whatever. He just doesn't seem he's invested. I don't think Anthony Davis is gonna stay healthy next year either. I don't see him playing more than probably 40 or 50 games next year. He just doesn't seem like his heart's in it. He can't stay healthy. I don't think he's even in the best shape of his life either. I don't think his heart's in it. That's very concerning. I think he's a bit of a phony, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I would say that too. I mean, last year, the whole story about it. One of the biggest reasons. I mean, there was a lot of reasons as to why the Lakers just absolutely failed last year, but one of which was that Anthony Davis just could not stay healthy. And you'd think that when you're injured this whole time, you'd still be kind of practicing your shooting, make sure you're still in good form. I mean, this is this kind of the same stuff that we criticize Zion for, right? He gains like 40 million pounds while rehabbing and doesn't look in shape, and that's why he just doesn't play. So if we're going to criticize Zion for that, we got to criticize Anthony Davis for just not doing his job.
Yeah, in the off season is not break time. You gotta be able to stay in shape. You gotta work on the game, especially a guy who is as talented as Anthony Davis, coming off the year that he had. And by the way, Anthony Davis did not shoot the ball very well last year. One of the reasons he's so dominant because he's 6'11", is a power forward and he can shoot the three. Very few power forwards can shoot the three like him. And he goes out there and has probably played like 30 games last year, and then you see him doing a video. He's with whoever the heck he's with. He's like, oh, how you doing? He's like, oh, I haven't shot basketball since April 5th. And his friends are like, yo, what? They're part joking, but part like, wait, don't you play for the Lakers?
Like, don't you play for a professional organization
Yeah, exactly.
where you should be like shooting a basketball kind of every day? It's ridiculous. I gotta ask you, draft tonight. What do you think? Well, who do you think's going?
Okay, it appears the top three picks I'm hearing will probably be Jabari Smith, then Chet Holmgren, then Paolo Banchero to the Magic, the Thunder, and the Rockets, respectively. I like Chet Holmgren a little bit better out of those three, but I think all three are very talented big men who can all shoot the ball. After that, it's a big mystery.
All right, here's the thing. So I did a mock draft yesterday.
I did one as well, yeah.
And I'm convinced that Chet Holmgren is going third.
Okay.
And the reason why I think he's going third is strictly because yesterday there was news that came out that he refused to send in his medical info to Orlando and to OKC, which for people who don't know are the first two picks of the draft. So if I'm OKC and I'm Orlando, I don't want to draft him because it's like, well, what the hell are you hiding from me? If you're not going to send me your medical record.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I hate to say it, here's the thing, dude, the guy's like a twig.
He is.
The guy's a freaking twig, and I'm tired of hearing, oh, look at his friend. No, dude, he's literally a twig. I have seen him. But I've seen this guy play before. He just needs to bulk up more, and he needs to send in his medical info, and then maybe he would have been number one. I actually think an underrated pick for number one is Jaden Ivey.
Absolutely, yes.
And also here's the thing. I don't trust Orlando to pick to pick Jabari Smith because this is the same team that drafted Markelle Fultz. I don't trust them anymore with picks.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say an underrated option, probably Hunter Dickinson.
Ooh, yeah.
Out of Michigan.
Did he go in the draft or did he go back to school?
I think he might. When I did the mock draft yesterday, it said he was in it.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think he could go in the first round. I liked what I saw from him last year at Michigan.
He could definitely be a good second round option, but if he gets on the right team, I'm sure somebody will find space for him. But it should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was talking about earlier before you got on the Knicks, who are the 11th pick, are looking to trade up. They're talking to the Kings, who have the 4th pick, and the Pistons, who have the 5th pick, supposedly they are very, very high on Jaden Ivey. They're definitely going for a point guard. I also mentioned earlier that they're trying to clear cap space to try to go after Jalen Brunson. So clearly they want a point guard, and I would love if they got Jaden Ivey. We just got to see if, one, the Kings and Pistons are willing to move down, and what will it cost for the Knicks to move up, 7 or 8 spots, possibly.
Have it cost Julius Randle.
I would love for them to do
just have it cost
like
Julius Randle
in a draft pick. Yes,
because the thing is, I think R.J. Barrett's untouchable when you're going to trade.
Definitely,
absolutely not. If they were to trade R.J. Barrett, I'd be pissed.
I would be too.
He's like the one redeeming factor of that team, and Obi Toppin. That's it.
From RJ, I'm like, guys, I carried you a whole last year. Now you trade me for a draft pick.
Yeah, for basically a non-guaranteed successful player.
Exactly.
Because that's what the draft is basically. It's just a bunch of players to where you're just looking at how they did in college and saying, "Hey, you're going to be good in the NBA."
Yeah.
But also, the thing is that I have also thought before that maybe the G League would be better to look at players to draft, and then I saw Jalen Green play, and I'm like, hold on a second.
I mean, he's still young. He definitely has to learn to do.
Some. I hope he never steps into a dunk contest ever again, for one thing.
Oh, that was bad.
Did he miss like 9 dunks or something?
I think so, yeah.
Dude, this draft's gonna be crazy because I'm not even sure how I feel about Jabari Smith after his performance in March Madness.
Yeah, that's another thing. I didn't watch a lot of him in college. What I saw from him in the tournament, which is just basically like all I saw of him, was not. I didn't love what I saw.
No, and thing is, if I'm a scout, I want to look at I want to look at March Madness more because there's a bunch of these conferences in basketball, some of which are not as impressive as others, like Sacred Heart's NEC, not as impressive as the Big East or the ACC. Some of those bigger conferences towards much more talent or much more competitive. So March Madness is kind of a mixture of all of them together to really see who's good and who's not. And if you can't perform in that, then I think your entire season of what you've done, depending on what conference you're in, really doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a scout, I'm looking at what college they're playing for. It's like, okay, if you played for like North Dakota State, I'm not as impressed with your triple double stats. If compared to the person who had a double double playing for University of Kentucky.
Definitely, yeah.
Also, on a different note, congratulations on Igor Shesterkin for winning. What was it, the Venza?
Yes, he won the Vesna. Thank you. Yes,
he won the Vesna. Yes, he won the Vesna. I saw that. Sucks he didn't win MVP, but I mean it was a tough race. He definitely.
Matthews did have a great year.
Yeah, I had no doubt in my mind that he was going to win the Vesna. I thought that was just an easy win for him, but maybe next year.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, MVP for a goalie is hard, but it's been done before, and we'll see. Shesterkin's definitely something else.
And also, before I go, because I got to go do some errands, I just got to talk about one thing that's long overdue.
Okay.
I got to talk about the NBA Finals.
Oh, very nice.
Because I'm pissed. I'm pissed. For one thing, this NBA Finals was boring.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest.
I was bored watching it. And also, I hate to say it, sorry Warriors fans out there. I'm sorry, Pat. I know they're one of your favorite teams if he's in here listening. But that entire series was more of Boston playing like absolute shit than Golden State playing well. Boston could not put up anything. Jason Tatum absolutely shit the bed, and
He did.
I'm talking Amber Heard style shit the bed. It was it was the most embarrassing performance I have ever seen.
Justin, I think you got the award for best line on my show. I think we're about 33 episodes into my podcast. Amber Heard style shit the bed by Jason Tatum. In
Yeah,
all in all seriousness, Jason Tatum was terrible in that series.
he was terrible, and I don't care about the stat line that he had like 20 points in a game or something, dude. He was on a fast break, and he just chucks up this reverse layup for no reason. Just why you ain't you're 6'9". What the hell is wrong with you? Oh my god. And also, another thing about the Warriors, they kind of had a Mickey Mouse run to the finals.
Yeah.
Let's discuss your quote-unquote competition. You had a Nuggets team down Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. You beat a Grizzlies team down John Morant. And then you beat the Mavericks, who had to do all of the hard work by beating the Suns.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed by your playoff run at all. And Draymond Green also played like shit. For
Yes,
another thing,
he's not a good series in
no,
the finals.
no, he did not. He's an overrated player. I hate to say it, but he is incredibly overrated. If he didn't have two of the best shooters in the league in the league on this team, he would probably be a bench player. With the amount of fouls he puts, what am I watching, man? And
Game
also,
7 he played pretty well. Outside of that, he was terrible.
yeah, and also one more thing: the Golden State Warriors are entertainment thieves. I want to see someone different. My God, it's the same shit every single year.
Yeah, that's definitely a dynasty.
No, yeah. It's a dynasty. I can respect what Steph Curry and Clay have done. Absolutely, Steph Curry had a great season. You know, he definitely deserved that Finals MVP. Now he has 4 rings under his belt, and he definitely puts himself up there as one of the greatest point guards of all time. But I thought we knew that already. I never thought Chris Paul was one of the greatest. I always thought Steph Curry was better than him.
Definitely.
By a long shot. But I'm just not impressed with the stuff the Warriors had to do. I thought their playoff run in 2018 was a lot more impressive when they beat the number 1 seeded Rockets in 7 games to make it to the finals. I thought that was more impressive.
Yeah. Chris Paul got hurt, but they still had James Harden, who
Yeah,
was a top 3 player in the league probably at that time, and they still had that was the next one team, the Rockets.
yeah. That thing, they had the MVP. He won MVP that season too. I was very impressed with that. But this doesn't tell me at all that this team will go far in another time when some of these players are healthier, because I would have thought that if there was a full strength Nuggets team, I think they at least take that series to 7. I don't think
That
that
would have been a good
series goes
series,
in
yeah.
5. It doesn't go in 5, but it sure as hell doesn't go to it sure as hell doesn't go to 5 games. Another question here for you.
Okay.
Recently, there was a trade that came out that Jeremy Grant is going to the Blazers.
That's right.
You got traded to the Blazers. What do you feel about this?
I actually was a little confused because I get why. I think it's a good trade for the Blazers, but when it comes to the Pistons side, they got a first-round pick back in 2025. They get a little bit of a better second-round pick. They swapped second-round pick. I think they get the 36th pick now, and Portland now goes down to number 42. But if you're going to trade Jeremy Grant, who's a really good player, I mean, saying he's the best player on the Pistons isn't saying a lot because the Pistons are horrible. But he's still a really good second or third scoring option. Can be a good starting power forward for you. I don't know why you would trade him, for a second rounder, and then you plus you give one back as well, and then a first round in 2025, which is in 3 years from now. So I would have probably wanted maybe a first rounder at least in 2023, if not in this year's draft. So I think the Pistons could have got a little bit more for him.
Yeah, I think so too. The only thing I'm happy with is that Damian Lillard's finally getting help.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised it took them this long because after getting rid of C.J. McCollum, you decided to stop the bleeding by picking up Jeremy Grant. Gee, I know Damian Lillard's all about loyalty and things like that, but come on, dude, you're pathetic at this point. Ask for a trade.
Please do.
Ask for a trade. You deserve it. You deserve it at this point. What more does this man have to do for that team? For them to finally wake up and give him help that isn't Anthony Simons. Or, Yusuf Nurkic that does nothing. Except for get injured and throw people's phones outside of stands. Alright, well, that's enough for my long-winded rant. I have to go do errands, get on that grind, and peace out, y'all.
Alright, Justin, thank you so much for coming on. I'll talk to you soon. That was Justin, everybody. We're on Talkin Sports with Jake. We're talking about mainly the NBA draft and the NBA. We mentioned the NHL a little bit. NBA draft is tonight at 8 o'clock. One more note, I heard the Phoenix Suns are shopping DeAndre Ayton, trying to do some sort of sign and trade. I heard the Detroit Pistons may be interested, and they look like they're going to target him come the free agency next week. As for the NHL Stanley Cup Final, Game 4 last night, Avalanche win 3-2 in overtime to take a 3-1 series lead. Nazem Kadri, who broke his thumb earlier in the playoffs, looked like he was going to miss the rest of the playoffs. He was able to return for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. In his first game back, he scores the OT winner, his sum for the playoffs. It was a little bit controversial because the stat sheet showed that Avalanche actually had 6 guys on the ice. And if you look closely, I think it was Nazem Kadri who was about to get off the ice for a change, but he was still on the ice when the goal was scored. So it probably should have been a too many men on the ice penalty on the Avalanche, so the goal shouldn't have counted. But Kadri was not affecting the play. He was literally about to walk onto the bench. I mean, yeah, you could argue it should have been called a penalty, but Lightning head coach John Cooper, I admire what he's done. He's probably the best coach in the NHL. He's done a great job. There's a reason that they're 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. And they're facing a long shot, but right now are still vying for a third. Of course, looking for the three-peat. But I'm tired of him crying. He's always crying about the refs and making excuses. I lost a lot of respect for him when he went up and did that. He says, he cut his interview short because it should have been a penalty. Kadri wasn't even involved with the play. It's one thing if he was right up at the blue line and he could have contributed to the goal. Then yeah, I would be pissed because that should have definitely been a penalty. But he's walking off the ice onto the bench. He's in no way affecting the play. That's not an excuse for giving up a goal there. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal. And John Cooper, it's not the first time he's done that. He needs to stop crying about the refs. You've won 2 championships in a row. Maybe Carlisle's is just a better team than you. Dude, just get over it. Game 5, we'll shift back to Colorado. That will be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on ABC and ESPN+. Colorado looking to wrap up the Stanley Cup. MLB scores from last night. We had the Blue Jays over the White Sox 9-5. Astros over the Mets 5-3. Rangers over the Phillies 4-2. Padres over the Diamondbacks 10-4. Marlins over the Rockies 7-4. Dodgers over the Reds 8-4. Cubs over the Pirates 14-5. Orioles over the Nationals 7-0. Yankees over the Rays 5-4. Red Sox over the Tigers 6-2. Braves over the Giants 4-3. Guardians over the Twins 11-10. Cardinals over the Brewers 5-4. Mariners over the Athletics 9-0. And Angels over the Royals 5-0. Shohei Ohtani, 8 scoreless innings and 13 strikeouts. He's the first player in MLB history to have at least 10 strikeouts and at least 8 RBIs in back-to-back games. The game before, he had an 8 RBI game. The Angels. That's crazy. If the Cardinals win over the Brewers, they retake a 1-game lead in their division over the Brewers. If the Guardians win, they stay hot. They are now in first place in that division. The Mets had another injury. Carlos Carrasco left the game against the Astros. They gave up 5 runs in 2 1/3 innings. They have a back injury. He's got lower back tightness. We'll see what happens with him. And it's another injury news for the Mets. Max Scherzer could return Sunday against the Marlins. He's been out for a little over a month with an oblique injury. Now taking a look at the standings in MLB. American League Central, like I said, the Guardians take sole position in the first place in that division. Twins are a game back. White Sox are 4.5 games back. And then the Tigers and Royals round out that division. Yankees continue to run with the American League East. They got the best record in baseball at 51-18. Then you got Toronto and the Red Sox are actually a game and a half ahead of the Rays right now in the standings. Red Sox playing some good baseball, and the Orioles are in last place. We're also 31-39. It's played a little bit better than I thought. Astros were running away at the AL West, 43-25. They're 10 games ahead of Texas, and followed the Angels, the Mariners, and then the Athletics. In the National League Central, Cardinals a game up on the Brewers, then followed by the Pirates, Cubs, and Reds. Mets division lead down to 4.5 against the Braves, but still are 47-26 despite various injuries. Braves 40-30, of course they're hot. They're 4.5 games out, followed by the Phillies, Marlins, and Nationals. National League West, Dodgers and Padres are now tied for first place. Giants are 4.5 games out, and Arizona and Colorado round out that division. We'll address some comments by the president of the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan. He had some comments on the LIV Tour, which he is not a fan of. He said, "I am not naive. If this is an arms race and if the only weapons here are dollar bills, the PGA Tour can't compete. The PGA Tour, an American institution, can't compete with a foreign monarchy that is spending billions of dollars in an attempt to buy the game of golf." He said, "We welcome good, healthy competition. The LIV Saudi Golf League is not that. It is an irrational threat, one not concerned with the return on investment or true growth of the game." You know, PGA Tour is trying to stop people from going to that tour. They actually just lost someone else in Brooks Koepka, one of the top players in the world. He just went to the LIV Tour as well. You know, the PGA Tour increased their purse, like the total winnings for like the top however many players from the tournaments to $20 million now. Try to keep people from leaving. Monahan then said, if you're good enough, you will rise to the top, and if you don't continue to earn that top spot, someone else as hungry and as talented is right there to take your place. Again, that's the unique beauty of what the tour has and always will offer to fans. It's damn good, and it's worth fighting for. So those were his comments on the LIV Tour. He's obviously not a fan of it. We'll see where that goes. We got some NFL news before we wrap up the show. The NFL wants to move Brian Flores' lawsuit against the league into arbitration. So they did not want it to be heard in front of a judge. The NFL said the NFL Constitution's arbitration provisions, to which plaintiffs agreed expressly, cover claims involving 2 or more member clubs and claims between any coach and any member club, precisely the case here. Of course, Flores is suing the league because they're saying he was fired by the Dolphins, wasn't hired by the Texans, and didn't get the head coach job with the Giants or the Broncos a few years back because he is African American. Steve Wilkes and Ray Horton, 2 other African American coaches, joined him in the lawsuit. I think they're saying that like similar things happened to them, and they also support what Flores is doing. So they join him. Giants owner John Mara, when he was asked if he would settle with Flores in court, he'll tell Flores to get some money, and then he won't take it to court. He says, "I'm not settling because the allegations are false, and we're very comfortable with our hiring process. It was a fair process, and we ended up making the decision we made based on a lot of factors, none of which had anything to do with race. Of course, they chose Brian Daboll over Brian Flores. Of course, Daboll is white, Flores is black. Flores said that that happened because he was black, and we'll see what evidence he has to back that up. And Flores' representatives want arbitration to be denied. They said arbitration is not transparent. Indeed, arbitration is by its very nature a secretive process that takes behind closed doors and outside of the public eye. lack of transparency in arbitration only serves to continue the status quo, which in this case is one that you have conceded must be fairly evaluated and potentially overhauled. That cannot happen in arbitration. In addition to being secret and confidential, it is a well-accepted fact that arbitration presents a barrier to justice for victims of discrimination and other misconduct. And it took me a while before this case is probably heard, because a decision on whether or not it will go to arbitration won't be heard at the earliest late summer. So that makes it sound like almost like August. So we won't even know if it's going to be in arbitration or heard in front of a judge until at least late summer. So this case won't be going away anytime soon. And we had the Washington Commanders owner Dan Schneider, who, of course, his organization is being accused of, knowing about sexual misconduct in their organization and lying about it, shoving it under the rug. And now people have come out and said Dan Schneider actually personally sexually abused them. At least one woman has said that. Dan Schneider at first was refusing to speak in front of a judge and would not testify, but he was just subpoenaed, meaning he must testify now. And now a very disturbing allegation came out, so that he conducted a shadow investigation that tried to cover everything up. He hired private investigators to intimidate his witnesses, and he used an overseas lawsuit as a pretext to obtain phone records and emails, because he tried to cover up and hide from the NFL like some of the findings of the investigation. So they gotta get him out of there. I know Roger Goodell said that he doesn't have the authority to do that, which he is partly is right. 3/4 of the owners have to vote him out, but I think they should vote him out. He's not a good owner. He's always been arrogant, and these deplorable things. It's horrible. It's been going on for far too long. Get him out of there. All right, next time I'll go more to detail on the Dan Snyder thing. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.